You know the melody, played in countless films, music boxes, smartphones. But behind its beauty lies a ghost, a name, a question that's echoed through time, unanswered for over 200 years. Who was Elise? And why did Beethoven dedicate his most iconic piece to her? What if we told you no one really knows? Für Elise wasn't famous when it was written. In fact, it may not even have been finished. Beethoven composed it in 1810, but the piece was never published in his lifetime. It wasn't discovered until 1867, over 40 years after his death. Buried among a pile of personal papers, it might have been forgotten forever. The man who brought it to light was Ludwig Nohl, a music scholar. He copied the manuscript and gave it the name we know today. But here's the twist. The original is lost. We only have Nohl's transcription, no signature, no confirmation. So we're left wondering, did Beethoven truly write Für Elise, for an Elise? Or have we spent centuries chasing a ghost in ink? One of the most popular theories points to Therese Malfatti, a young aristocrat, a talented pianist, and Beethoven's student. He was 40, she was 18. Some say he fell in love with her and even proposed marriage. But she declined, possibly under pressure from her family. Still, Beethoven wrote her music, including a short piano piece, likely in 1810. Could this have been Für Elise? Many scholars believe it was, except it wasn't Elise at all. The theory suggests Nohl misread Beethoven's handwriting, that the original may have said Für Therese, one name, two letters. And suddenly a whole new story is born. A story of love unfulfilled and a title lost in translation. In 1866, music scholar Ludwig Nohl visited the retired teacher Babette Bredl in Munich. Bredl possessed a handwritten manuscript, allegedly passed down through her son, who had been close to Therese Malfatti. The pages were worn and Beethoven's handwriting notoriously difficult to read. Bredl is said to have read the title aloud to Nohl as Für Elise. But here's where it gets interesting. Bredl had a granddaughter named Elizabeth, nicknamed Elise. Some now believe that the name Elise wasn't in the manuscript at all, that Babette, whether consciously or not, projected her granddaughter's name onto the faded page. And with Bredl's permission, Nohl published the piece in 1867 under the name Für Elise. But was that name ever Beethoven's intention, or was it a coincidence, immortalized in ink? With the original manuscript lost, all we have is Nohl's version, and Nohl wasn't a direct witness to Beethoven's intent. He relied on a second-hand reading from a retired teacher in a private setting, decades after the composer's death. No copies in Beethoven's own hand remain. No mention of Elise appears in his letters, dedications, or journals. Some scholars now argue that Für Elise may never have had a name at all, that it was a bagatelle, an informal musical sketch never meant for publication. The title might have been imagined or misunderstood, a name conjured out of memory, a misreading that became a mystery. A phantom forged by time and sealed by tradition. A beautiful mistake that became legend. Whether Elise was real, imagined, or misnamed, The music remains delicate, haunting, familiar. It has outlived kings, wars, empires, and maybe even its own origin. Because this melody doesn't need a name to be felt, it carries no confirmed dedication, no surviving title in Beethoven's own hand. And yet, it speaks to us all, to anyone who has loved in silence, to anyone who has lost something they can't explain. Maybe Beethoven wasn't writing for a woman. Maybe he was writing for a moment, for a feeling, for the universal ache of memory. And in that ache, Für Elise became eternal, a love letter to the unnamed and the unknowable. So, who was she? Who was this Elise? A forgotten lover? A misread name? A child remembered by her grandmother? Or perhaps no one at all? The truth is, we may never know. The manuscript is lost. The title may have been whispered into being by memory, not by Beethoven. And yet, the music remains, not tied to any single name, not bound by facts or signatures, but alive through feeling. Maybe it endures because it doesn't belong to anyone. And in that emptiness, we find our own stories. So let me ask you, have you ever wondered who Elise was? Or have you, like so many others, just played and played without ever asking the question? If you enjoy uncovering hidden meanings, forgotten truths, and timeless questions, consider liking this video and subscribing for more.